A very good day to you all, and on behalf of the board of the Foreign Bankers Association, with this AGM we're marking the 30th anniversary already of the Foreign Bankers Association.
I think today the emphasis should not be on me actually, but it should be on our speaker. Today's speaker is a powerful voice within the European and global policy community, consistently reminding us to put this in practice in everything that we do. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very pleased to introduce the keynote speaker, member of the Executive Board and Vice Chair of the Supervisory Board of the European Central Bank, but also a very dear friend and colleague, Frank Eldersson. A warm round of applause.
Exactly 1 week ago, the International Panel on Climate Change, the IPCC, published its synthesis report, according to which temperatures have already risen 1.1 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. And this worrisome observation reminds us that addressing the increasing risks from the ongoing climate and environmental crises is both urgently and vitally important. We have no time to lose regarding the sustainable transformation, that we need to step up the global ambition to meet the Paris Agreement goals, that our world needs more ambition to accelerate the change towards a net zero economy, and that financial institutions can and must play a key role in driving the world towards net zero carbon emissions. I expect the international banking community to raise a loud voice in the various international fora, a voice that advocates and supports an ambitious level playing field on C&E risk management. And your own statements clearly demonstrate that banks do not lack ambition. But what banks need to ensure now is that this ambition is translated into practice. And this is the only way to remain sound in a net zero carbon future. 2023 is a crucial year for translating ambitions into sound internal practices, for which substantial progress is still needed. Thank you very much.
If money can steer the world, you have a part of the tools in your hands to steer the world. And if you can steer the world, you have to steer the world. You cannot be successful, and your company will not be successful if you operate in a world that fails. You need to take care of people today and generations to come. That is your responsibility, and I hope we get a banking sector who takes up that responsibility. Thank you very much.
And we have a room full of bankers here today. And I am not a banker, but I am tremendously passionate about greening the financial ecosystem, because I fully agree with Vijke when you say money decides, money ultimately bears responsibility because it makes the world go round.
Shall I start?
Yes, if
Speak
you
on.
would like.
Well, we are one of those banks that committed ourselves to be net zero in 2050. And to get there, I think bankers, corporates, regulators, they all have to work together here, because this is not about, we all know how important this is.
There's a mismatch between how society looks at the banks and how the banks look at themselves. They're more looking at themselves as a contributor to the economy in the same way as a DSM, a Heineken. But where I see the hurdle is where it really comes to quantifying climate risks in the balance sheet of banks.
If you look at the World Economic Forum, I think if you look at those numbers vary from a dark side perspective, probably only 35% of the companies across Europe say that they do have it on their radar, that they feel that they are empowered and entitled to take decisions. And if you bear that in mind, and those clients with that little knowledge and ability within their companies have to support the banks by generating, helping to gather all those information, I don't like to see it on black, but I think it's going to be a huge challenge.
Trust is very important. And you build the trust not by words, but by being open, being honest also in your problems, also in your direction. Don't tell the story that you are not going to deliver.
Climate change, biodiversity loss is by far, the biggest challenge that mankind has in this century and maybe, you know, overall centuries. This is the biggest thing. That the leverage that you have with your institution on your clients to then also make these steps is humongous. Because all of you know what leverage is. And double leverage is the most wonderful thing. I convince you, you convince them, and together we get this done.
Thank you. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Fijke. Thank you, Marieke, Paul, and Bart. Thank you for attending.
As a thank you for your contribution, we have, on your behalf, planted 7 trees per speaker in areas that are most vulnerable and climate is severely impacted. A certificate by tree will be given to you right after this event, and you will be able to follow the growth of these trees via an app. Thank you and enjoy.